Now, we have refused to speak to the press for the last few weeks or so, and we will continue to refuse to speak to the press. However, we will make an exception for the purpose of the Champions League game, because UEFA does not allow this to happen. And so we have said at UEFA that we're prepared to take part in press activities both before and after the game. And that's our commitment. And we have said, however, that this evening's press conference and tomorrow's press conference will not speak about anything that is not related to the game. So no questions about the ECB's economic policy, about Brexit, any international crisis-related questions, solely about the game. Now, you can ask whatever you want. However, you need to know that we won't answer questions that are not related to the game. Guido, please. Okay, we can begin then, please. Corriere dello Sport. But if you raise your hand, then one of these two gentlemen want to bring a microphone to you.
Senti?
Yes, we can hear him.
Parla senza.
No, but obviously I can only hear him with the microphone.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, the microphone works, yes. I'm pretty sure that you'll be able to talk about international crises as well, but we're more interested in speaking about local crises and what's happening. Local events. We haven't spoken to you for, 3 weeks now? And things have happened in that intervening 3-week period. There's no point denying that. We've seen things happening. So what about you as a manager? What's your state of mind at the moment? What's the state of mind of the team as well? Well, our state of mind is very much related to the awareness of the fact that we need to do a lot better. We're aware of that. We need to do a lot more, a lot better. And in this particular context, we're here to prepare for a game which is of great importance, which will require a lot of attention on our part, a lot of focus, so that we give ourselves the opportunity to reach our first objective of the season, namely to qualify from the group in the Champions League. Unlike what happened last year, when we only had one possibility available to us, we needed to win on that particular occasion, whereas this year, given that we've been doing pretty well thus far in the Champions League group, we can either qualify out of the group tomorrow or, if necessary, at the end of the final game. The team knows it needs to do better. The club needs to do better and is aware of that. And the manager needs to do better and is aware of that as well. So we're all involved. We all need to find a solution in the immediate term to the problems that we've encountered. And we hope, of course, to start resolving these problems tomorrow or in the next few games to come.
Salve, mister, buonasera.
Hello, coach. In the Champions League, Paris Saint-Germain, Bayern Munich, Manchester City, Barcelona, Juventus, and Napoli, they're the only teams that haven't lost a game thus far. And yet you're 7th in the league in Serie A. How do you explain that difference? Well, quite simply because in the Champions League, we've been able to express our potential. Whereas, we've had highs and lows. We haven't been consistent in the Serie A. No point in hiding anything here. We need to be more consistent, continuity, consistency. Sometimes we've played well, other times we've played less well, particularly from a results point of view, which means that we've ended up drawing far too many games. And for that reason, really, we're all disappointed, absolutely. We're all disappointed, but we're also motivated. We're really up for it. We want to improve things as quickly as possible. Well, you've seen a few things, haven't you? Basically, as a footballer and then as a coach, as a manager. Had you ever had any experience like what's happening at the moment, though? How would you emerge from this incident? And also, are you disappointed with the response shown thus far by the team, particularly since you have completely different results if we compare to the Champions League with your performance in Serie A? And then Out of the players you've brought with you today, is anyone who's likely to miss out tomorrow? Well, all the players who are here at the moment are available. Those who aren't with us because they're not available. They won't be able to play. And Insigne gave it a go yesterday. He still had a lot of problems with his elbow. And so, just to make sure that everyone gets this right, by the way, Insigne couldn't play tomorrow. He would have been here as captain of the team, but the fact of the matter is that he would not be in a position to play. It's quite clear. He came off against Milan, he was injured, he wasn't able to get back fit again, and that's it. So forget everything else that's been said around his omission. Fabio Ruiz trained today, he looked okay, Mario Rui looked okay, but they're not available to play. Everyone else is available. Everyone who's with me today is available to play tomorrow. They're available and motivated. Well, in a manager's career, there are lots of difficult moments, as it were. There's always been difficult moments each and every year. This is a delicate part of the season. How do we get out of it? Well, everyone has to express their commitment, their will to improve matters, improve the situation. And people talk about stuff a lot, of course, but everyone has to have the same intention, and that means the manager, the team, the players, and this unity in terms of our intentions and our will means that we will emerge from this situation. There's no doubt about that sooner or later. Champions League and Serie A, as you've just said, you've played and had different results. But this is a particular situation in that the first game back after the international break was at the San Siro against Milan. So what was your impression of that game? As you've said, what was the reaction from the team? What's your reaction to that game? Well, I felt that the team was committed. It gave everything on the pitch. I think that perhaps it held something back in the first part of the game in the sense that things aren't going exactly how we'd like them to go. So perhaps the players were a little bit more apprehensive or concerned than they would normally be, a little bit of fear. So they held themselves back a little bit. In terms of tomorrow's game, listen, if we're afraid going into tomorrow's game, then that's going to be a huge issue. But we won't be concerned. We won't be apprehensive. I don't think we will at all. I mean, it's such a huge game, such a wonderful occasion, an event. It can be the turning point for us in our season, I believe. And there's no time to be apprehensive, to be worried, or to be afraid. A quick question for the coach and then for Lorenzo. For the coach, first of all, in the press conference today, Klopp was asked on more than one occasion about the Napoli crisis. And he said, we asked him, well, would you give any advice to Ancelotti? He said, well, Ancelotti doesn't need any advice. So that's a huge compliment from him. So I'd like to ask you what you think about what Klopp said. Well, I can say that, he's one of the few people I would accept advice from. Absolutely. I would take advice from him. Lorenzo, can I speak to you? You're not refusing to talk to the press? No, we've suspended the press. We've suspended that. We'll speak to you now on this occasion. About 4 or 5 years ago, you were playing for Matera. In 4 or 5 years, you've played for the Italian national team, and now this is the eve of a huge game tomorrow against Liverpool in this wonderful stadium. If this was an American film, would this be called something like, if I'm dreaming, don't wake me up, don't pinch me, don't wake me up? Well, yeah, sure. If I think 4 or 5 years ago I was at Matera and now I'm here, wonderful, absolutely wonderful, of course. It's been a long, hard journey for me, difficult journey to get to this stage, and today I'm gathering those fruits, as it were, of all of those sacrifices that I've made over the years. To be here in this stadium, at this stage of the Champions League, for me it's fantastic, absolutely. It means that, yes, I'm realizing a dream that I have had since I was a kid. And it's something that I'm experiencing, but I'm pretty calm. I'm pretty calm about the whole thing, I have to say, and extremely happy with what I've done thus far. But of course, I also realise that there's a lot more work to be done and a lot more scope. There's a lot of scope for improvement. Halle, the question for the player, Di Lorenzo. How is the group of players feeling going into this game? Do you think you need to do a lot more than you're doing at the moment to emerge from this kind of situation you find yourselves in at the moment? Well, the team is focused, really well focused for tomorrow. It's well motivated. It's true to say that in Serie A we're not doing too well at the moment. We're not perhaps winning as many points as we'd like to, but in the Champions League, it's fair to say that we've done well thus far. And tomorrow we have a big game waiting for us, a big game which can take us a step closer to qualification for the knockout phase, which is one of our objectives, of course, this season. So we're ready and well focused and looking forward to tomorrow's game. For Carlo this time, you've said that, perhaps in Milan we were a little bit reticent, a bit apprehensive. So, what has Napoli lost as a team? What has it lost? What's gone missing? And what do you need to find again so that you can start achieving good results? Well, I think over the last few games, quality and when we're in possession of the ball, I think that sometimes we haven't been good building from the back. I think we've been a bit slow building from the back. We haven't had very clear ideas, lacking in accuracy as well and precision. So quality of our play needs to improve. We need to be more clear-minded, vary things a little bit more as well, and be quicker. I just wanted to ask, is there anything that you would have done differently over the last 3 weeks? Had you had the opportunity to do so? And have you thought about resigning over the last 3 weeks as well? Well, I mean, it's not something I've ever done. And, I guess that when things which need to be evaluated and assessed, the confidence and trust, the club has expressed its faith in me, I think. The players have faith as well. Well, if you don't have faith and trust and confidence from the players and the club, then yeah, you might think about resigning. But I've never thought about that because, even if perhaps one of the two, perhaps if the club doesn't trust me, doesn't have confidence, then I might think about it. Or if the players don't trust me, I might think about resigning. But that's never happened to me. I've never picked up on that kind of a signal. And it's never happened in 30-odd years. It's not happening now. And that's why I'm saying this is a fleeting moment. It's happening at the moment, but there are lots of issues that we will emerge from. And you always have issues if you work with other people. You can agree in some moments, in other moments, perhaps some periods of time you don't agree. Basically, you have to have this unity of intent, and that's what we have, and that's what will help us to get out of this situation. Good evening. Well, wandering around Liverpool today, I saw that the bookmakers were saying that the most likely score is 3-0 to Liverpool tomorrow. You get a lot of money if you were to bet on that. What would you be betting on? Well, I don't know. As I've already said, we want to get through to the knockout phase. We want to put in a good performance tomorrow, play well, compete with Liverpool. I have to say, Klopp knows as well, of course, doesn't he? And he knows it won't be easy tomorrow. It won't be easy. And if Klopp knows, then everyone else knows as well, by the way. And I mean, it's important, I think, Klopp knows that we can create his Liverpool team lots of problems. That's what we did in the first game in this group. It's what we did last year. It's what we've done in friendly games as well. We've created them problems. It's going to be a tough game for us, absolutely. But I also think we're going to be really stimulated and motivated. It doesn't happen every day. Find yourselves playing at Anfield, and we want to really make the most of this opportunity to play here. I'd like to ask you about tomorrow's game. What do you think the real difficulties are when you're playing a tough opponent like Liverpool? And then your best memories of all the different games you've played. Well, I've got lots of memories. Some of them good, some not so good. But, talking about tomorrow's game, well, exactly the same issues you always have here when you play against Liverpool. Intensity, we need to make sure that we can control the game. That's absolutely fundamental. I remember last year we started off really well, but slowly but surely we lost control of the game. We gave up more of the pitch to them, gave them more space. And if you give them plenty of space, then they're going to create problems for you. So I think it's really important then forget fears, apprehensive. We need to be brave, we need to be courageous, we need to show our character and show that we want to do things. I just wanted to ask you something, if you don't mind. What's happened then, even most recently, is that the best way to prepare a game and perhaps to trigger off that turning point that is necessary? And what about the psychological, the state of mind of the players? Will you select the players who you think are in the best shape from attitude and mental approach point of view? Well, we're very focused. Inside the group, we're focused, we're motivated. Psychologically speaking, all the players are up for it. They're all ready. If they weren't ready, they wouldn't be here. So you think that what's been done so you think that the preparation has gone well so far? Absolutely. We've had an extra day to prepare. We played on Saturday, so we've had an extra day to prepare. So I think from a physical point of view, all the players are ready, and mentally as well, of course. Absolutely. You talked earlier about quality and the need to improve quality. Do you think that's the only problem that Napoli has at the moment? Or do you think there are mental issues, physical issues? What other kind of problems do you think you have at the moment? Well, I think the team is holding something back. It's not expressing its full potential. It's being held in check a little bit. It's perhaps not relaxed enough at the moment. Perhaps because the results haven't been great thus far. It's a bit like, if you don't if you can't achieve a good result, you don't feel relaxed enough to get the good result. So kind of like almost a dog chasing its own tail. But which is also why it's so interesting game tomorrow. Whatever's holding us back from a psychological point of view, for a whole range of reasons. And this isn't our last chance, by the way. Tomorrow isn't the last chance for us. But it could actually give us a certain sense of freedom. It could release us a little bit from this tension, etc. Thank you very much indeed.